Welcome back to Mushoku Tensei. Tensei. Jobless Reincarnation. Excuse me. Anime review episode number 4. Yes, 4. This is discussing the episodes 7 and 8 of the anime, What Lies Beyond Effort and Turning Point 1. This finishes up book 2 of the adaptation. And like before, they do custom stuff here. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, though, is something related they mentioned in episode 8. What is it, you might ask? Well, the fact that Rudius mentioned that he forgot the holy artifact, aka Roxy's panties. Yep, I forgot to mention that, and the fact also that when one of the times Eris ran away from me during lessons, he kept finding her in the barn, kept groping her, and then he basically tried to pull down her panties, which would make Eris the second woman in the series he actually pulled down the panties. Well, look, after she kicked him in the gut, and then she ran away. Now, this scene definitely is from the book itself. And from the way you look in the manga, it seemed like though she kicked him in the balls. Nope, it was the gut. Aside from that, let's talk about these two episodes here. Mostly put for this one, basically for these two, well, the best way to describe basically what happened in these ones is that first we have Eris's 10th birthday in the seventh of the series. Mostly put, basically they have the dancing lessons, and then, of course, they get to the party itself, and, of course, they keep the fact that about Roxy and, well, her figurine, which he later sells to a peddler, which somehow ends up in the hands of Roxy, and the fact that thing is basically the role can be removed, and also the fact that he basically, well, gave her panties very much fine detail. Which she got a bit creeped about it, but I don't think she minded that much. Yep. So, in the case of the birthday, this scene is mostly accurate to the book itself. Not really much change here, except there's basically a little bit more people dancing, and of course Rudius does basically ask her a couple times basically to dance, and she does. And then they cut out basically an explanation of why in the world that she and Gassetti, I think her name is, the big beast woman, why they're in Rudius' room. Now, in the book itself, he had invited just her to it, and Eris basically was there invited because she was just standing there. Yep, and there's a slight change to this scene now. Yes, they do have it where Rudius does give the two women wands. And in case you're curious, though, yes, the wands look exactly like this in the book. They look like big chopsticks. Of course, shot by one of the figurines. In anime, it's shown to pick up the figurine of Sylvie. Sylvie herself does appear in here. Excuse me, episode very briefly, mind you. At the episode for self-episodes. And then we have a slight change here. Now, in the book itself, because I keep forgetting to pronounce the woman's name here. What is her name? I keep Kasentine. I think it's the pronounced name, yes. So, basically, like, in the book itself, she mentions that her people don't have a tradition of exchanging gifts. They must have changed this for the anime because she gives Eris one of her rings. There's no mention of it at all, and they actually cut what happened next. What happened next, you might ask? Well, Rudius decided to take out a bottle of wine. Yes, seriously. He took out a bottle of wine, despite the fact I think at this point he's supposed to be 8. Yes, he's supposed to be 8 years old. And he takes out a bottle of wine. For reasons. And of course, they all get drunk. And of course, Eris ends up sleeping in his room. Which does explain the reason why she's there. Because in the anime, it's like, oh, they're in the room, and then she just wakes up. She's basically in his bed. Yep. And then later on, of course, we see Rudy has to look up the tower in the morning, like he gets in the morning. Now, in the book itself, basically, he explores this tower out of curiosity. They do cut basically a line here because in the book it said he was forbidden to go in the tower. In the book itself, basically, that's what happened. He was forbidden to go in the tower for reasons. So in the anime, it's like he goes to the tower and just accidentally interrupts Eris's grandfather doing it with one of the maids. Not the first anime, basically. I mean, the guy himself basically has got these beautiful beast women basically as his maids. And he probably figures, though, why not get into action? Despite the fact he's no man. And, of course, he has no problem with it at all. And in case you're wondering, no, did Zeus say in the book? Yes, and Rudius did not get punished for this at all. And then you see what looks like a weird small red planet in the sky with rings. I say it's a planet because that's what it looks like. So it might be a good thing, of course, they explain this a bit later what the heck this thing is. And it's... You're probably thinking, what's the point of that particular planet being there? Well, that sets up what happens at the end of episode 8. Yes. The very next episode, everybody's planning for Rudius' 10th birthday. Which, yes, is happened in the book as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They pretty much plan for his birthday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they plan for his birthday. So they're all like very secretive. Mostly when it comes to his birthday thing, it's mostly accurate per se. Yes, like in the case of Eris' 10th birthday, this is pretty accurate. And of course that he's given a particular staff. Yeah, this is the first appearance of his staff he's known for having. Let's see if we can find it here, because I do have a page for it here. Let's see. Ah, here it is. Okay, the name of the staff is Arrogant Water Dragon King. This particular staff makes his debut here, and it was a gift from Eris. And he does basically use it in the episode. Yes, he does. So, of course, he's... Now, there's one thing they kept here, basically, of like Rudius looking at the base of Gahida's tail, which she has no problem pulling down her pants to show it off. And, well, Rudius being a pervert, he's like, yeah, he just pokes at her butt, and she apparently has got no problem with it at all, despite the fact she's probably about 20 years older than he is. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, because, well, trying to make a figurine basically of her tail. I mean, she really appreciates the fact he made one of her. It looks really good. It makes it look like a freaking badass. But couldn't get the tail because I couldn't get the tail right. So there's that. Then it comes his birthday. Most of what the scene is, when they get to the birthday itself, is mostly accurate. No really much change here. And then came what happened next. Basically, Philip explains basically kind of the reasoning. Excuse me, why Paul was why what happened to his kids. Yeah, as mentioned, Eris has got brothers. She doesn't know it because apparently, and this is a really kind of dumb idea for a family. Like, okay, if the head of the family, like if there's boys, the head of the family gets all the boys, which in my opinion is really stupid. Like, apparently these, they cut this little bit, they cut this little tiny bit of dialogue here, where apparently Philip's own sons recognize his older brother James as their father, not him. Yes, his own kids don't recognize him as their own father because of bullcrap family nonsense. Yes. Now, do they ever mention the brothers' names? No. They never do. And in my opinion, that was kind of dumb. Yeah, because the book itself doesn't name these two mysterious brothers of Eris. And they cut out the brother's name here. His name is James in the book. Yep. And of course, Philip tries to set up, well, having Rudius take care of Eris, which he actually does. Hangs out with her for quite a while in the books. Yeah, hangs out with her into book 6, and then she comes back a little bit later on. So, Then we have sort of a seduction scene. Yes. We have Eris and Nighty, and of course Rudius being, well, Rudius basically looks like he pecks her on the cheek. It looks like goes a little too far, and then she kicks him. Of course, they apologize for it. And then, of course, then we have this really weird scene of the floating fortress that was seen back in episode 6. We see what's on it. We see the hero. We see like an old man there. This actually is the lord of the castle. And they check out this particular strange thing of mana. And then, of course, they show off the mon. They show the mana in episode 8, which is a very similar ending they had for episode, I think it was 2 or 3. I think it was. They're out of the field, show off the spell. Then the sky goes swirly, and then the other guy shows up. Now they do cut a line of dialogue here of Rudius explaining to Godzilla that this guy basically is very fast, which my guess is the reason why they cut it because, well, and this is my personal theory, just to make that hurt to make Godzilla not stupid. That's probably my reason why they cut this, and they fight for a bit, and then of course they have, well, he's told they actually don't have it to where in the episode him understanding the fact he has to protect Eris from whatever this guy is. And then one of the most shocking things I've ever seen in anime, probably the first time I've seen like this, something in a canon capacity. Mostly I've seen something like this in anime original content, especially in Naruto, where you have this big, humongous explosion happen at the end of episode 8, referred to as the teleportation incident, or a big calamity, where this big blinding light destroys an entire city. And that's where the end of the episode. Oddly enough, they don't have the epilogue. What happens next? We have Godzilla looking for Eris and Rudius. Yeah, she searches for them. And for some reason, they decided not to include that here. I'm not really sure exactly why they didn't include it for, but they did. Yeah, so they ended with the end of chapter 8, and they don't even include the epilogue, which I thought was kind of dumb. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they cut out the epilogue here. It's like they stop at chapter 8, and then, like, from when I look up a line, apparently the next episode starts from book 3. Yeah, for some reason they go straight to book 3 with the very next episode. Yes, with episode 9, A Chance Encounter. They go for chapter 3, book 3, and they cover the first 5 chapters. I don't know how long book 3 is. Let's see. Book 3 is roughly, well, they say the U.S. release is 320 pages. It depends on when I get a chance to read it. Yes. So, I'm going to be a little curious, though, exactly, like, how far that the anime gets for, basically, because apparently by episode 11, they apparently cover all the way up to chapter 14. Oh, yeah, they do cover the epilogue in this book. Okay, they do in episode 11. They cover the epilogue. Not really sure why they decided to cover it, therefore. They just do. Yeah, apparently they just breeze through basically book 3 for the next few episodes. I'll probably discuss it when I get a chance to, well, get to reading book 3. But here's hoping, basically, I don't wait a whole freaking month before I finally get back to the series. I hope not. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Now, in the case you're curious though, like, how do I feel about this series so far, being 8 episodes in? It's a good series. I do recommend it. If you're curious though, who recommended me this series? It was suggested from Anime News, because he talked about the series briefly once. If the series is really good stuff, check it out. Yep. Oh yeah, there's also a little bit here of Paul, Zenith, and Lilia, and of course Paul's daughters, Rudius' sisters, where they're basically just, we have Sylvia showing up at the house. Of course, Paul shows up later on. Sylvia, of course, tries to play with Norn. Norn's scared of her. But Alicia basically is not scared of her. It seems like they're basically kind of like best friends. And apparently Alicia, because of the fact the mother is a maid, she dresses as a maid too. Just because that her mother is a maid. Despite the fact that, well, she and Norn are both the daughters of Paul, and Rudy is the sister. So Norn is the full-blooded sister. Alicia is the half sister, which Rudius himself probably doesn't have a problem with that. And from what I read, they don't meet till later on. I'm not gonna say when per se, but they do meet. But why the heck they wait so freaking long, I have no idea. Yeah, basically they show him briefly just for what happens next, where it's actually revealed. They actually cut this out here because they cut this out here. They hopefully put this in episode 11. Yeah, apparently Zenith is missing. Now, Paul reveals in the epilogue that, well, they're probably going to shoot this for episode 11 because it's mentioned in the epilogue of the book that Paul's got Norn, but he doesn't have Alicia, Zenith, and, of course, Luth, I think her name is, the one who's basically the mother of the second daughter. No mention of Sylvia, though. Nope, no mention of Sylvia, but I'm looking forward, basically, to reading about her in the books, per se. Yep. So, yeah, that's definitely it for this particular review. I might have time to do Fairy Tale tonight. It's possible. Okay. We'll do this next video. Bye.